Well, hello, this is Pastor Matthew Woods, pastor Grace Lutheran Church, New Albany, Indiana, and this is the weekly devotion for Monday, October 12th, 2020. And today I've titled our message to be Post-Wedding Gratitude. Well, it's finally official. I have a new daughter-in-law in the family. After a year and a half of planning and getting things together, putting details together, Kyle and Michaela finally had their big night over the weekend. It was so much fun to finally see it all come together. We had a little couple of hitches, you might say, in all the excitement. I think a little bit of the stress got to Kyle. Got a little faint at the altar, but he was smart enough to sit down and collect himself for a minute or two. But we got it done, and the vows were taken, for better or for worse. In the photo booth, for some reason, the photo booth that we were in kept misspelling Michaela's name and kept calling her Micaiah. Left off the L for some reason. But let me say, the company was wonderful. The food was terrific and delicious. All the decorations worked like they were supposed to and all came together. And most of all, my youngest son, Kyle, is married to a very fine young lady who is in every way his complement. In every way, they are a good match for one another. She is very good for my son Kyle. In a year of social distancing, it was really nice to finally bring someone together and to celebrate with people at the wedding. So what a great weekend it was, and I'm very grateful for it. Ironically, this weekend's gospel lesson was the parable of the wedding banquet from Matthew chapter 22, verses 1 through 14. Now today, I want to read just the first 9 verses. It says, Jesus spoke to them again in parable, saying, "The kingdom of heaven is like a king who prepared a wedding banquet for his son. He sent his servants to those who had been invited to the banquet to tell them to come, but they refused to come. Then he sent some servants and said, 'Tell those who have been invited, I have prepared my dinner. My oxen and fatted cattle have been butchered, and everything is ready. Come to the wedding banquet.' But they paid no attention and went off, one to his field, another to his business. The rest seized his servants, mistreated them, and killed them. The king was enraged. He sent his army and destroyed those murderers and burned that city. Then he said to his servants, 'The wedding banquet is ready, but those I invited did not deserve to come. So go to the street corners and invite to the banquet anyone you find.' So the servants went out into the streets and gathered all the people they could find, the bad as well as the good, and the wedding hall was filled with guests." I can really appreciate this parable. 2020 has been especially troubling for wedding planning. Just ask anybody that's been involved with any of that this year. We had booked a venue earlier, a year and a half ago. The owners, however, in January called us up and decided that they were going to retire and sell the place, all with the idea that they were going to be able to pass the place on to the next owner, thinking they would take us on. Well, that didn't happen. And this was all before COVID, by the way. So we looked for other places to ultimately have our wedding held. And of course, the date that we picked was 10/10/20. It was the most popular weekend of the year, according to the table rental guy. He was busier this weekend than all year long. Anyway, we kept looking around. We couldn't find anything. We looked downtown. We looked around. Finally, we just decided to have it at church, and that worked very well. But then we thought, who is going to cater this meal? I mean, the same guys were supposed to cater it. But thankfully, they stepped up and they decided to cater it for us just the same. And the food was great. They did a great job. We didn't have to kill the fattened calf, but I know they cooked a mountain of food, that's for sure. But I noticed in the parable, the king goes all out with his caterers. I mean, not just a fattened calf, which we all know from the parable of the prodigal son is enough for a feast. But you notice what he says here. It's oxen and cattle, plural, lots of them, that he's serving up, that he's butchered and prepared for the people. It's going to be a huge party, one for the ages, literally. And then there are the logistics of COVID. A few folks that we invited simply just didn't come to the wedding out of caution, and that's okay. But most did. We were especially grateful for all those who made a journey from Michigan and from Illinois, the family members who made a very quick trip uh, to celebrate with us this weekend, only to go back to work on Monday. We really appreciate that. And we say thank you to all our local friends who came to the wedding as well. We're so glad you were able to come and participate. We know it was a weird year, but you helped make it a great night. And then there were the logistics of COVID. A few folks that were invited decided it probably wasn't a good idea for them to come, so they didn't come out of caution, but most did. And we're especially grateful to those who made the long trip from Michigan and Illinois and Missouri uh, to come here just for a weekend and have to go back to work on Monday. We really, really appreciate that. It was good to have you here. And we are very thankful for all the folks here locally at our congregation, all our friends and family who were able to join us this weekend. And I'm only sorry that we had to limit it so much, given the circumstances of the wedding and the year. We had to let Kyle and Michaela send out the invitations. I wouldn't know where to draw the line, so I had to let them um, do those things. And I wanted everyone to be there, but the gym simply isn't big enough for more than one uh, uh, turkey supper sized event. Only one a year is enough on that, I guess. But just the same, I thank you for all of those who pray and support and have wished your congratulations to our family. So we thank you for that and for all of those things. We're grateful. In the parable that we listened to in Matthew 22, the invited guests, which represent the people of Israel, of course, make excuses not to come to the king's banquet. And so the king's people go out into the neighborhoods and invites anybody that wants to come. The party was going forward no matter what. I can really appreciate that part, because we were determined this year to go forward with this wedding. Now, if you look at the parable, he's going to celebrate with those who will come. And who wouldn't want to come to such a huge event, a red carpet event at that? The king is going to celebrate regardless of COVID. We had people of all kinds at our own wedding, even some I could tell you, I really don't know who they were. I just assumed they were office workmates that work with Michaela or Kyle. I'm not sure who they were, but we're glad you came this weekend. We celebrated this weekend, that's for sure. Thankfully, in our case, I think that most of the folks were ready to do something kind of fun. They were kind of ready to get out of their cooped up world. But that's the good news in our parable, isn't it, though? The wedding is coming. It's not going to be held off. Nothing's going to stop it from happening. And we are invited. We're invited to come. It's been advertised. It's been expressed, shared with us in love through the cross. Heaven's gates have been thrown open wide, and your name is on the invitation. You are a welcome guest. We are all welcome guests. And in spite of the trouble of this year, even though some of us are even people barely holding on, keeping ourselves together, we are considered welcome guests. The wedding is going to happen, and it's going to be a blowout, such as the world has never seen, and COVID or nothing in this world can stop it. The creator of the universe wants you to be a part of it and not to miss it. And I love the fact that the eternal life that is coming to us is compared to a wedding banquet, a feast, a party. Weddings are a lot of fun. There's joy in that. I mean, it's going to be awesome. And in heaven, I might finally actually learn how to do the electric slide on the dance floor. In 30 years of going to weddings, I can't seem to get that dance figured out. It's probably going to take another miracle from Jesus. But, as the scriptures say, all things are possible with God, right? So my post-wedding gratitude is this. I'm grateful for what happened this weekend, for the joy that we celebrated. So congratulations to Kyle and Michaela. We love you, and may God bless you with a long life together, filled with faith and love and joy. So don't forget, just a couple of announcements. This Saturday is our last drive-in service at 5 o'clock with communion. And in 3 short weeks, another reminder, we're going to have our annual turkey supper, only it's going to be a drive-through style, kind of like Chick-fil-A, only we're not going to be serving chicken, we're going to be serving turkey and lots of it. So please come on out and enjoy that too. We also want to thank you for donating to the Sudan flood relief. Last month, we were able to raise $6,000 for the help and send that to Sudan. I know our brothers and sisters in Sudan, our Lutheran brothers and sisters there are grateful to receive it, and it will do a lot of good in that country. Finally, thanks to everyone who are routinely praying for your church staff, who are so supportive and so helpful to all the ministry needs of Grace. Everything that goes on at Grace is only possible because of the people there. I can tell you, Pastor and I, the staff, sincerely appreciate and love the people of Grace Lutheran Church. You guys are the best. And now, the Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine on you and be gracious to you. The Lord look upon you with his favor and forever and always give you his peace. I'm Pastor Woods. Thanks for being with us today. Bye-bye.